All right, guys. Hello and welcome to Sunday Live. We are back again. Another cold Sunday. Got a feeling that's going to be a common deal for the next couple Sundays, at least 3-4 months of it. So we are back. Subscribers are slowing down again. Finally, let me see if I can't get the page up. All right. So we normally start off by reading off the new subscribers. Obviously, this is 2 days. I think they backlogged a couple days. 3 days. So the last one was November 16th. So we got Jeffrey Verdran, something like that. Lucas Valdequez, something like that. Jace P. DM7. Louis Manuel. Yeah, we're going to keep going with that. I don't know why. Apparently, this is hitting the east pretty hard here. Danox. Sean J. MZ. Andrea something. Gene Mueller. I think we're back to the ones we just had last week. But Christy. Patrick Liam. Wieslow. Pavlaris, something like that. Vane, Sean G, Diane Orca, Alab, Benjamin Grove, Terrell Garrett, Charles Jr. Daly, Robert Claremont. Yeah, I think we're back. All right, guys. So thank you all for the new subscribers. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Content hopefully will start flowing in a little bit more regular. It's just been kind of a crazy couple weeks here, and I'm about out of footage. I was trying to get all that figured out and get back onto a page with I've been messing up the edits with the times. Like I think the GoPro does like 10 or 15 minute chunks, and then it'll make a new one. So like say we've got 10:32. The next after that 10-15 minutes, if you are recording, it'll go to 20:32. But what I've actually had happen was have that happen 5-6 times and not catch it in the edit and think that the camera had shut off. So what it actually is that you go from 10:32 to 10:33 when the next clip starts, and 20:32 is way down the list. So I had a whole pile of content that never actually led anywhere. It was a continuation of what we were doing, and so I scrapped it all, and now we're back to learning again here. RC Fun, what's going on? I'm doing well, buddy. I'm doing well. Staying warm. Got out here this morning around 6-7 o'clock. Got the stove going pretty good. I had it about 40 degrees in here, which wasn't great, but I put the stove going slow, and by the time I got in here after church and whatnot, it was up to 60. So I just put a couple pieces on. She's starting to glow again, so I'll probably have to shut that down here in a little bit. But How are you doing? Are you messing with pipes yet? Yeah, it's cold. It's cold. We're in Fahrenheit here. I did take my that one that I had polished up quite a bit. Ooh, I got a hole right there. I gotta mark that. She was too hot to mess with the other day. Um, where's my pen? There. Where's my shirt? Oh, there we go. I got a paint pen right here. She's probably froze up though. So I took that one that was all polished up from the 500i, and I made it with the 372. I'm going to give this a shot. But I had it so hot here the other day that I couldn't mess with it. Okay, right there. So I haven't got it all dressed up or nothing yet. Come on. There she goes. So you can see I got a little hole right there where my finger is, so I want to make sure that I get that. So I'm going to just mark that spot. That way I know to find it. So yeah, I still haven't heard. I haven't had Cody in the chat or nothing like that. I'm waiting to catch up with him. I want to get his number, and I want to have him make me some of these. But I still haven't tested this one yet. The 372 is a lot different than the 500. The 500 will adjust itself to the pipe, but the 372, you got to play with, which I like. I like honestly a little bit better. I'm a little bit more old school when it comes to that stuff. But yeah, so I'm gonna give this guy a shot. It is a little bit weighty. It's nowhere near as heavy as the other ones, but get it cleaned up, and before I go and spend too much time on it, I'll test it out. Yeah, there's the other one I cut off. This just did not perform. Yeah, this is going to be a lot different. So I'm excited to try it out. I'm hoping that works, because that'll be a that's fine. That'll be a an easier design to duplicate and then put out there to the masses if it works good. Just did the first exhaust, but the plate didn't hold. Oh, okay. So you're talking the flange. I've had a lot of problems with these flanges, but like I said, I think it's the size of the muffler that I was working with too. Are you building off the design I made, or are you trying to do your own thing? Think it was too thin? Yeah, that's a big issue. That is a big issue with flanges, especially when you're dealing with steel. It's been a learning curve for myself too. Like I said, I have no problems with this design at all. With the size of these flanges, but when you start getting outside of that realm, putting more material, more weight. I mean, this weighs double what this does, and it's still a lot smaller than that snake looking one that I had made. Has been performing. That thing had performed for 6 months, and that's the scary part about all this too, is I'm experimenting, building these pipes, and that pipe performed beyond my wildest dreams, to be completely honest with you, for 6 months. And then all of a sudden I started having the the bolts loosening up on me, so I had to put one or two flanges on it, and then I had the last one. The flange completely blew out on me, which scared me, obviously, because you got all that metal falling apart right outside the piston. But yeah, the scary part about it is I built that pipe April or May last year when I first started doing my own stuff, and that saw had been used at least 3 to 4 days a week on the regular. Um, and then 6 months after, it just started to basically nickel and dime, where vibrations would. I don't think I had any of the welds come off. I think it was all flange related, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, it was all flange related. But one side of the flange would I'm talking about here, the flange. Okay, one side of the flange would open up like crack, which is exactly what this guy did too. Well, I've got it here somewhere. Not that it really matters, but I started developing a hairline crack on that little shorty, which is the lightest pipe that I've made, so it doesn't make any sense in my mind. But you've definitely got to beef your flange. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Especially with anything that sticks out past. Like I've got one. Make sure it's clean. I've got a fresh port job that I'm doing here on a 372. I'm gonna give this one a shot. I mean, I just did the no base gasket. You can see on the exhaust side, at least, you can see. Well, can I get the low light? Maybe you can't. Yeah, you really can't. Either way, I've got the exhaust smooth right out. I've got a lot of oil crap going in there right now, but I've got a brand new one to test. I got to get a clutch for it. Clutch, recoil, all that stuff. I've got the hard components. Well, I guess not the hard components, but I need a clutch, the flywheel, yeah, I think that's it. Everything else I've got in the back, gas tank, covers, that type of deal. But yeah, like this, I have welded this. I did an initial pass to get it to stick, and then I did one underneath, and then one above, and then underneath again, and I tied them all in with a fourth or fifth one. So, like I said, it's probably overkill, but I don't want to deal with that again. I mean, you could see how beefed up right here is, and I definitely don't want to be selling something that's going to fail anybody. That's huge. That's huge. I think it was too thin. It vibrated a lot, yeah. But the sound was amazing. Yeah, once you get that sound, more so than the sound, once you feel the throttle response and the pull that you can develop with a well-designed pipe, I'm going to say, and I haven't tried anybody else ported work, but I'm going to say that I have noticed more gains from a pipe than I have from porting. But I don't think I've ever tested anybody else's porting, so I can't really speak for that too much. But like if you're running a factory muffler on a ported saw, I think you're limited off the bat. Yeah, that's really all I got to say about it. What else is going on in the life of RSD? So I'm hoping this week we get back into the woods. I got my chains. I've got my brush hog, and I'll show you guys what I've got going on here. So these are the skidder chains on the back of the tractor there. Right there. Okay. That be my issue. Let me see if I can't do a little right there. See that chain? It's rubbing on the inside fender well. So what I have done, and I'm gonna do a full review on these for anybody out there that has a tractor. Recently viewed. Nothing on there. Boom. So I got a set of wheel spacers coming in. Should be here tomorrow. By the grace of God, I'll tell you that. I actually contacted Bora, and I'm gonna do a whole different video on this specifically. But just to let you guys know, anybody out there that has tractors, whatever the case may be, and you're looking for spacers, they're expensive. They're quality. They're built in the USA. They're what is it? It's bulletproof off-road adapters. So that's where the Bora comes from. And for a set of 4, it is $430, $25 shipping. But the stinger for me was the soonest I would be able to get them would be by Thursday, January 4th or Tuesday, January 9th. So I ended up calling them. And like I said, it kind of scary how things work, but I called him and he said that he actually just received a set back of 4-inch. I was looking for 2-inch to give me the space in between the fender well and the tire. So I was looking at 2-inch. They were about $300. And I called him and I said, "Is there any way I could get it? Could I pay to make it faster?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, "But that just puts you in the front of the list." So he says, "If we're at a month and a half of waiting time, if you got orders in front," he says, "we'll put you in the front." But he says, "We'll only be able to really cut that time in half." He said, "So if we estimate, 4 weeks, you'll be 2 weeks or something like that." But it was an extra 100 or something like that to get it expedited or whatever you want to call it. But while I was talking to him, he's like, we did just get a set in that didn't work out for a fella. He was looking to go 6-inch. He bought the 4-inch, and he said that I'll send them to you for the 2-inch price. He says, but I'll even beat it. So he went down from, I think it was $348 to $340, and he says, I'll put them in the mail today, and I'll do free shipping for you. So like I said, I ordered them Friday, and they are scheduled to be here tomorrow. So I'm going to, I'm not anybody like that. I don't know how to really say that. I'm not affiliated with them, but they help me out huge. And I'm going to obviously give a solid review of all these wheel spacers. I know Tractor Time with Tim has had them, and there's another big tractor YouTuber that's actually he used it on a 1025R or something like that. He used them on quite a few different pieces and really likes them. So I'm very interested to see what they do. I'm very interested also to see if it keeps it more planted. It's very planted tractor, I will say that. So I'm kind of interested to see what if it improves even more, which I know it will by having 8 inches of space. But kind of excited about that for sure, especially get back in the woods. I'm thinking about porting my 500. Be careful. Be careful. If it's your first saw, definitely go through your due diligence with it. But I mean, check out the prices on OEMs cylinders. I almost thought they were freaking $500-$600. So if you have if it's your first time going to be porting, I would definitely start out cheaper. I mean, I very much thought. Actually, I had another 500i coming that I had bought off eBay, relatively cheap, about half the price of on the shelf price. I ended up buying it off eBay, and it never showed up. So I'm out $700-800 right now due to some type of scam going on with eBay. They're taking care of it. I'm just out of the money until they can get it reconciled. But the individual was able to actually make it look like I had received the package with a picture from UPS and everything. So be weary of buying stuff right now, especially with this new AI. I don't know much about it, but I know that I've seen some things that pretty scary. Let me see. All right, try. I was gonna try to go over some of my most answered things here. Well, Todd Adams actually had a good one that I'll just let you guys know. I believe that you said your Sunday lives start about 1, but 1 on which time zone? Okay, so I'm on New York time, so we're on East Coast, and to further make that, I'm not sure if every state has done the daylight savings time. So right now we are at 2 o'clock on the Eastern, whatever you want to call it. So just kind of keep that in mind, because I think there's some states that didn't end up doing the daylight savings time, so that if we were an hour behind them or 2 hours before them or whatever it is, the West Coast time zone, now we could be 3 or 4 with the way they've messed with the time zones or with the daylight savings time. I'm trying. I had a couple of these. I think we went over Connor. I still haven't seen Connor in here. He was talking about my steel farm boss starts up 1 pull, but dies when I start cutting. Ever heard of this witchcraft? Yeah. So I think we got into it last time, where if you do have a saw or if you buy a saw from online, or wherever, as long as it's not brand new. But if it's been sitting or has the possibility of sitting, the first thing that I recommend that you do, Bucking does it as well, is you, and I don't have my little squirt can right here. I've got it in the saw shop. First thing, make sure you open up your air box. Okay. Like, actually, I've got a good example here. I have a 61 in the saw shop right now that I had bought, and every time I start it, the thing's screaming. So first thing that I would say is make sure that you check your throttle linkage, make sure that it's free, and make sure you get movement with your throttle. That would be the first thing, because you hate to start up a saw that's been sitting forever and have the thing scream and then have the kill switch not and have to go in and either choke it manually or take the spark plug wire off. Okay. Take your air box off once you've made sure all this stuff works. Okay. Obviously, the on off switch you won't know until it starts. But if it doesn't have a choke, have a screwdriver or something handy to pop the cap off. Then after you do that, you give it a couple squirts in the carb. Give it a couple toots with your finger there. Let the fuel go by. Give it a pull. If it starts and runs for a second, you've got a fuel delivery issue generally. Lines are big pain in the butt with the garbage the oil companies are giving us now with the ethanol. However, with this issue that he has here, I've seen it and I've had it happen quite a few times here. The ethanol will end up clogging up where your jets are. Anybody that's pulled a carb apart knows what that looks like. So my fix for this is assume that the saw was running in the past and running decent. It's a hard assumption to make, but generally I'll take and count. I'll turn in the high and low jet, and I'll count to make sure that I can reset it back to where it was. If you mess with it and you lose count or whatever, a safe spot that I've always been is 1 1/4 to 1.5 turns. Give it a little shot of gasoline down the carb and let her go. Give that a shot. I have ported cylinders. Well, then go ahead. Are they really complex? I have not looked too much into the 500. Like I said, that's not really a saw that it's almost like for me, the way I look at a 500 is that could be the first, that will be the first saw that I bring to a saw shop. It's like one of these new freaking vehicles where you've got nothing but wiring, sensor, garbage. Don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that I can't go in with a screwdriver and give that saw a tickle on the low and high. I did it. I did it for YouTube because I wanted to. When Buckin enjoyed the 500i, and I know from running 372s, 371s, 365s for all the years, I know the people that I can trust when they say they like something. And that's why I went and tried it. Not actually, I bucked the system for so long about the 500i because everybody and their brother was jumping on the bandwagon. And you guys know the firewood crews and all that, where a lot of them guys, that's what they do. They buck. They don't log. They don't do this, that, or the other. When Bucking got into the 500i and he didn't like certain things, I took his word as word. And I got it, and I really do enjoy it. It's a fun saw. It's a fun saw until I have issues. I'll say that. So my 371s, 2s, 365s, them are my muscle saws, and that's the way I look at them. You know, they are a roll cage with tires. I can take that saw, put it on the bench, play around, play around, play around. If I mess up a cylinder, it's $80. I go and grab a highway cylinder. I've got 4 or 5 of them in the shop, and I can play with them again. And then put it together, give the carbs a little bit of playing with, build me a pipe for it, go out, break it in, throw the pipe at it, give it a little tune, and go out and cut. The 500i, if I mess with that stupid thing, without being able to plug it in myself and reset the carbs and stuff, it's not worth it to me. Not worth it to me. It's just too much stuff. I don't know how else to really put that. I don't think I'll do it myself. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, you want to build a little muscle saw, get something that's carbureted, get one of the older saws, and just kind of play with it. You know, like this one's got finger ports done to it, and it's not going to hurt nothing. It will not hurt a thing. I've got cranks. I've got bearing. It's that one's got the full bottom end rebuild. You know, if I have a needle bearing go through it, that's one thing. But generally, I just throw them together and give them a shot. And I've got to get back to writing down my numbers. After the last couple that I had been writing down, especially that that monster that I love cutting with, that had the that snake, serpent, whatever the heck you want to call it, pipe on it. That one, the numbers, everything is gone because it all went through the washer. Nonetheless, because I've got these, I keep my little notebooks in my back pocket, and I write down things that are important to me. And numbers was one of them, and they didn't last. Don't want to kill it. Yes, I understand that. That was the first thing I did when I got my 500. Took it apart and studied everything. Well, that sounds a lot like me. That sounds a lot like me from a young age. As soon as I got my first tool set, I remember I worked on my dad's chair at dinner time, or before dinner, and when he sat down in it, it fell apart. I do remember that. And that's always been something that it hasn't really got me in trouble. It's definitely helped with a lot of things, like the farming winch. Something goes on with that, I pretty much understand it. Which I've actually got I found the old book for it. I'm going to try to show how easy that thing is, but pretty much anybody with a mechanical way of mind understands it. It's a very simple machine. Nothing too complicated to it. Where were we? Oh, Todd was trying to help me with the bolts. As far as them exhaust bolts not staying tight, still has come up with bolts that fit perfectly in many of them points on your saw and on the underside of the head and of the bolts. They have a knurling area, which acts like a locking mechanism to keep them from backing out permanently. It's at least something to look into, and I am looking into it. Problem with them bolts that I've had is when you get into the coarse threads, they end up starting to, as you tighten them, they do take a little bit of material as well, and you start getting a little bit of slot. However, I am going to look into them, but I get a little bit nervous when it comes to the head and messing with non OEM bolts. I don't know. I'm still debating on that. I did Loctite the last ones. I still have it right here. Generally, I use red Loctite. People say it never comes out. That's a load. Them backed out the first 4 hours I was running out in the woods. So, I am working on my turbo lawnmower right now. That's killing time. Yeah, the turbo lawnmower. Yeah, you're goofy. Like I said, you got to get a YouTube channel or something to put these projects on. I want to see it. Mr. Dan, how you doing, brother? When are we going to get together and play something? You? It's that time of year, man. It's freaking cold. Arma 3 ways. Yeah, I've been doing Arma 3 King of the Hill. That and the SOG, the Vietnam. Man, I love that. I love flying the choppers. I might start streaming it every now and then. It runs really well. The only problem is that the turbocharger is about the same size. Well, yeah. That could go either way. I'm going to say that Todd's got some of the most in-depth conversations on here by all means. Trying to get better with the gunplay. Come with me into whatever you call it. King of the Hill. That is where you will learn. Yeah, I think it's called something like that. Oh, no, King of the Hill. Maybe I always thought it was Koth the map. Yep, King of the Hill. That is where you will have gunplay, and it's respawn. It's not Modern Warfare respawn, but it's you respawn back at the HQ, and then you can either fly in, skydive in, or whatever. But it's quick cycle times. You're playing against people. I've had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I'll hook up with you in a little bit if you want to do it. And it's got a ranking system, so you don't. Yeah. I love the transportation stuff. So Todd's talking about how small my tractor is. Now that's not a good way to start. No. It looks like at first glance you're going to need a bigger tractor for a few jobs. We got that. We know that. I knew that right off the bat. But you probably can make some sort of weight carrying affair for your front tires. And we had talked about this as well with having something on the forks. But I can have something on the forks. But when you get into a pinch, you need the forks. You can't have to drop something in order to. It's one of them things that you almost got to be there in order to understand it. If I could put weights on the mass, like on the forks themselves, where I could, or not on the forks, but on the mass of the forks, that I could still use the forks when I need them. In the woods, that is. If it's out on the landing, moving trees, I could always drop it, and it's not a matter of that. It's a matter of when you're in the woods and my winch is pulling, my front end of that tractor is always up in the air. And I've got 400 pounds worth of John Deere weights. I put them on the bumper, and that it works. It definitely helps. But if I was to put something on the front forks of the tractor and the front end comes up and it does one of these numbers and it lays sideways, a lot of times I get into trees and you need that. You need to be able to move your forks and do this different. So I'd have to hang something off the mast itself, which is, like I said, I mean, a lot of that is my, if I pay more attention and I use my different rigging points, I'm always squirrel brained when I'm out there. And a lot of people, they don't completely understand. Bucking does a really nice job with it. A lot of stuff happens in the woods when you're by yourself and you take a lot of it for granted. Actually, Logger Wade had a video of him cutting a tree, and then he was talking on the camera, and a widowmaker came down and it sliced his back open pretty good. I don't know. I edit a lot of stuff out of my videos because I don't want the hate or the backlash. There is safe ways of doing things, and then there are safety things that you can put into place doing what you're doing, but they end up making the job more dangerous. So sometimes you need to, grab your gun, don't have nothing else on, be naked, and do you need to be quick, you know what I mean? Or you can go and get the full armor, load everything up, blah blah blah, but you're a snail and a slug. So there's two ways of thinking. The state got a lot of people in trouble, and actually there's a buddy of mine up the road that is still out of work right now because of the safety, I'm going to say it, safety Sally things that they do. What was he doing? He was on top of a front end loader, and I think he was putting the boot or taking the boot off the exhaust, instead of just putting the hood up and the boot falls. He had to climb up. He ended up, it's a long, stupid story that they make you do. He ended up falling off and hurting his head. And he's still screwed up from it. But nonetheless, there's the right way, the wrong way, and the state way, we always called it. I'm trying to not go about the state way. I'm trying to do it the wrong way in a lot of people's eyes, more or less. Like I said, you got to take a little bit of risk to get a reward, and kind of the way I've been running it low and slow. I'm missing comments already here. It runs really well. The only problem is that turbochargers about, we read that. Trying to get better gunplay and flying. Maybe too big. Well, you can always adjust that, right? I've been doing Todd. Oh, there he is. How you doing, buddy? Something similar happened to someone like I said, you could freaking slip on a sock getting out of bed, and some of these comments that I've went through, I could definitely go off on tangents about. Especially people really get after me about my back cuts and not being measured in inches. I don't want to get into it. You do what you do. I'll do what I do. And if I'm doing something so wrong, you'll stop seeing videos from me because I'll be dead if that is the case, correct? So Todd, I didn't have so many people in here, so I was trying to go through some comments and answer some stuff here. So we were talking about the carrying, weight carrying on the front end of yours. Next time you're next to a tree or anything else that's not wanting to be pulled in the direction that you are heading, try to get the tractor headed in a different direction. It'll probably require to drop your load, relocate your tractor, then pull the tree back to your tractor. Like I was saying, the issue is, and the videos don't show it, I'm in a belly. Okay, so I've got bank over here, bank over here, and I can't really do anything with the tractor but kind of squirrel it around. And hopefully with these new chains and wheel spacers that I've got coming for the tractor, that'll help me get up onto banks and whatnot. But the thing that a lot of people don't understand, especially with manipulating the tractor, is the PTO shaft has got to be in one certain location. So if I go off with the tractor and I'm sitting, topsy-turvy, whatever, that cutting edge on that Farmy winch has got to dig into the ground, and on the unsupported side, it'll twist and I'll break my U-joints. I've already broke 3. Okay. So like I said, it's one of them things. I'm trying to take everything that everybody says and trying to utilize it the best I can, but in some situations it just doesn't work out that way. The next time that you got a tree that is going to have questionable directions to fall, compared to how you really want it to go, get the tractor into a position. This is the same kind of issue that I'm running into. So I've got the road. What's going to be the road? The road's going to be here. I've got a tree here, road here, and valleys down here. I have no way to direct a tree unless I brought ropes and chains from the road. It's extremely hard. I'm basically paralleling this tree with the tractor. So what I could do, from what Todd was saying, is I could take the tractor, plant it on the road, shackle the tree, basically put a block in front of the tree, and then I'd have to do another block to the tractor. So I'm gonna after I reread this, it's one of them jobs that you've got to remember that tree. Let me know so I can put the piece on. Hold on one second. Where was I? Okay. Son of a gun, did it? It did. There we go. So I'm gonna more or less go with laziness on this part. On mine is, yeah. Like I said, I could do that. I don't know how to. I could do that. I would need two snatch blocks to get to that tree that didn't go exactly where I wanted to. It fell in between everything, which wasn't a big deal. The problem is when you've got a tree laying and you've got trees on both sides, the tree in turn has to go straight out. And the way I had to have that tree go was this way, okay, in order to pull it out. Yeah, needless to say, that's one of them. I'm not I don't know. You try to rule out cost versus your time. How much is this tree worth, and how much is the tree worth after you put in that much effort to get it down? It's not a tree that needed to come down. It's a tree that I wanted to come down because it had a bad crotch in it. So I did it, and unfortunately, it did scar up some trees. Them trees are actually coming out anyway now, just to get back to the line. But all it did was it hurt some trees that I didn't want to hurt, more or less. So, like I said, if it was a tree job where that tree had to go in this location and this was how I was going to make it happen, that would be exactly where I would use this. But when it is a need to come down now and get on to the next one, that's kind of the situation we're in. My whole deal is to get the tree down best, fastest, safest ish way I can do it, and then get it out to the landing, buck it up, get it in the pile, and move on to the next one. Something similar. Yeah, we talked about that a few days ago. He tried to lift a piece of asphalt with an iron rod, which broke and flew into us. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Right time, right place, right? Or right place, right time, something like that. Not really much you can do about that, Buck. You know, I was just getting crap from a logger down the road. I was at the store with him, and I was showing him my predicament. For those of you that weren't here earlier, I'll show you this real quick. Okay, so I got some skidder chains. If it shows all right here. And this is the issue. You can see right here. Side of the tire, sidewall of the tire, inner fender. So my fix is Bora wheel spacers. I'm not going to go into all that. If you want to hear more about Bora and all that, you can check the video in the past there. So I've got wheel spacers coming, 4-inch wheel spacers, and that's going to be so I can get these chains on my tractor, get it back to the woods, and get this buttoned up before we get more snow. I was just talking to a fellow logger at the store, and he told me to be very careful, basically telling me not to do it. That a logger buddy that he worked with was tractor logging, put some wide tires on with skidder chains, and the chains, anybody that's watched any of my skidding stuff, it picks up logs, it picks up sticks, it picks up everything. Nonetheless, the guy was backing up, had his head turned, and it picked up a log or whatever, ended up mushing his face pretty good. He lost an eye in his nose and stuff like that. And he was just, giving me the complimentary, you shouldn't do this because of that. I with the mindset that we get into, and with the fellow just on YouTube in general, they'd rather you not do anything and be safe than do what you got to do to get by. And that's kind of where I am. I know that I am probably doing it the most dangerous possible way, with an underpowered tractor, with a overpowered winch, ported saws that people say I can't handle. Clearly, with my videos, it's just it's a beat you down train. And like I said, if the men in our past thought this way, or took this stuff to heart, that the people that are trying to look out for you, nothing would be accomplished. So, I'm not going to say that I don't kiss my wife and kids every morning before I leave and let them know where I'm going, but I don't know. I don't know. Something that I'm passionate about. I love logging. I love doing firewood, and I'm going to continue it, whether I have the financial investment with a steel cage around me, or I don't. So stick around and you can watch how a hard-headed logger does it, I guess. Or you can go and see the fully mechanized guys that are going in the hole every day and not making it anymore because the markets aren't supporting it. You know, we still need the wood, but they're not paying for the wood anymore. And there's a lot of loggers out there that I mean, Wade's one of the few that I've heard speak the truth about it. That you got to do what you got to do in order to get something done. You know, he lost a good buddy. What was it 2-3 years ago? He was talking about his buddy cutting. I think it was 15, 20 years being a hand cutter in the woods, and he was talking about them just finally getting mechanized with a skidder loader, feller buncher, and he said that the gentleman wasn't completely comfortable with a feller buncher cutting a tree, so he went out and hand cut it, and that tree ended up being the one that got him. You know, so mechanized logging has its purpose, it has its perks, um, but I can't go and put $2 million into something that I don't have. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I ain't gonna beat a dead horse about it, but it's just sad that we've got to look at it all like this. You know, the one sidedness, where I'm just a guy trying to do a job that a mechanized unit would get done in a day, but it would look like trash when you get done. I've been going in the past 2 weeks since the tractor's been home, bucking up the logs that are in the woods that aren't going to go out for firewood or to the mill for lumber, and I've been bucking it up and bringing it into my pickup truck, bringing it home, splitting it, and getting rid of it that way. So, uh, I don't really know. I don't really know. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you're right or left. You're wrong. So I don't really get into that stuff too much, and I kind of shrug it off or get a little bit cocky or arrogant with these people because it's just enough's enough with it. I just love operating my saws. It's to a point that I'm not even doing the stuff to my new living shack that I really need to. Yeah, buddy, that's the way I've been living. That's the way I've been living. Eat, breathe, everything. Everything's been chainsaw for me this whole summer. That's why I'm so glad that I decided to start this channel when I did, because it's bringing like-minded folk in, cutting through the horse crap. Um, but yeah, it is an itch you got to scratch for sure, for sure. Let me see. Did I go through? Uh, and the speaking of which, Todd, uh, I have not been posting too much on you right here, especially if it's limb bound and potentially going to go wrong. That is stuff that I do not try to show on YouTube because YouTube would probably take the video down. It's just dangerous. I get a lot of limb bound stuff. A lot of limb bound stuff. When you're dealing with woods, not in rows. I mean, the stuff that we dealt with at the tree plantation, that's a whole different animal than this. Them pines, you have to fall sideways or domino them. In order to get one out, you've got to take many or fall it cross property type deal. The woods that I'm working right now, a tree could fall 3/4 of the way down, and the crown of another tree or the limbs get into and then you've got to turn the camera off, and you got to get in there and get a little bit dirty and get underneath this stupid. It's not pretty stuff. But I don't really know what else to do. I've done a lot with the frig. There's a 40 something inch. I think it was 43-inch ash that I cut off the road the other day. When I had the eye issue, I think it was the last day I was there. It was massive for that, you know what I mean? It was all over the road. And what I had done was I did a Humboldt cut in. I took the guts out of it, and then I wrapped the chain with the tractor, and I put the block on a forward-facing tree, and I left about 2 inches of holding because I had all the weight on the backside of the road. I got onto the tractor, and I snugged it up with a winch and got it to move a little bit. Then I went back out, wedge, you know, that type of deal. Back on the tractor, pull it a little bit further, put another double stack in there. I get this thing to a point where it goes by itself, and it gets hung up in, you know, maybe a 18, 20-inch ash. And then I got this monster over the top of me that is cut off the stump. I put the chains around with the tractor. I tried to walk up the log as far as I could, put a chain on, try to get it to, you know, budge. I couldn't do nothing. So then I had to get underneath the stupid thing, which, like I said, not the most brilliant idea, but I kind of had options with how thick it is in that little spot. I had to go under, and I just back cut the 20-incher until it barbachared, and the big one came down. So like I said, that's stuff that I'm not really going to be showing on here just because it is what it is. I had a 24-inch pine on the top of the hill, which you guys probably haven't seen yet, any of the softwood stuff. But I had that where that tree looked like it was going to be going exactly where I wanted to down the hill. I could wrap the top. Excuse me. That one laid back on the saw. So then what I did was I grabbed another saw. I went back up the hill, and I laid a tree into that. And that was enough to just get it off of my saw. And I drove in 2 wedges, and I went back a week and a half later, and they were both down. So like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I don't really want to put on YouTube, and it's not that I'm trying to hide anything by any means. It's that I'd hate to have somebody see what I do to get out of predicaments that I'm in, and have somebody get hurt over it. So yeah, like I said, falling any tree is dangerous. Absolutely. It's just something that folks just don't understand until they've been doing it for years. And I'm learning it. When you stop learning, buddy, get out of it. Get away from the saw. You know, get away from the saw. Mr. Pounder, how you doing, Bubba? Get away from the saw. You know, I enjoy the arrogant. I get arrogant and cocky, you know, but it's just a show. It's just a show. You know, a stick that's the size of a file will make you feel like a little baby. Can, especially when the temperature's just right. Get that across the face. That'll humble you a little bit. And then think you're dropping freaking 20, 30, 40-inch trees where a 7/30 seconds freaking stick just took you out. You know, you need a good humbling. There you go. Boy, oh boy, Ground Pounder, you had me drooling, man. There is some beautiful wood there. That was cool. That was cool. Some straight stuff, too. Is that a camp out there that you're at, or is it a residence? A week out there every year, eh? Man, oh man, oh man. Yep, that's a hardwood loggers place for sure. There's some beautiful stuff. Look, just as straight as can be too. Yep, that's who I'm dealing with. Of course, you know Lake Placid. You know where the Olympics are and all that. That's like I said, that place that we were out closing up there a couple weeks back. 2 people live there. There's 8 cabins. 8 cabins for 2 people. And the one, the big cabin that they spend most of their time in, they have a couple different maids' quarters that are freaking gorgeous. Gorgeous places. But they need them all on in the summer, and then they need them all shut off after we get the first snow. I'm doing all right, buddy. I'm doing all right. How's your brother doing? Yes, Todd. Yeah, the old think with your dipstick, Jimmy, hey? Oh, man. No, I've had plenty of them. Get you right across the face, and I swear it hits every freaking nerve, especially if it gets the ear. Man, oh man, my ears are sensitive and that cold. Wow. We just let the. Oh, you're out there today. I thought that was a video from yesterday or something. A long road, eh? I'll keep him in my prayers, brother, man. Get it while the getting's good, Bounder. We got snow coming. I don't know if you guys do, but they're saying freaking anywhere from 2 to 4 inches here tomorrow or the day after. You posted a video right after it. Yeah. Uh Got to work the weekend because you're playing around on the weekdays, eh? That happens. That happens. Well, I tell you what, it's not getting very warm in here. Guess I'll let that smolder overnight because it ain't doing much right now. She's down to 40, and here we started out at 60 something. See you later, RC Fun. Yeah. Yep. Being an adult, right? Amen to that, Todd. Well, Pounder, you got another F off day. You give me a text or something like that, and we can try to do a live on yours if you want. I'm still waiting. We'll get this figured out sometime. I'll do the old back and forth. How's that pig? He's freaking ornery. He's ornery. The old chicken's back though. Freaking the one we've had a chicken, and we got a dog kennel deal. I'd show you the pictures of what happened, but I don't know if it was the rooster Cogburn, or one of the sister birds, but she had from her eye to the back of her neck, the skull was showing. I don't want to be gruesome, but it's farm life. So I've got pictures of that, but we recovered her. The kids found her after school about 2 months ago, maybe a month and a half or so. Brought her inside, got her cleaned up, whatnot, and we were kind of doing a rehab with her in the house, feeding her, doing that type of deal. And then I built a chicken tractor, the Joel Salatin chicken tractor deal, and I put her in that while the other birds were in the coop, and I move it around for her a little bit. And at night we'd bring her in, that type of deal. Well, the other day I wanted to try to get her integrated in with a flock again, so I threw her in, and they pounded on her again. So what I did this time was, we've got our coop, which is pretty much square. You guys seen it. And I took some of the snow fence. It's green, not really chicken wire, but nonetheless. And I fenced off a section of it, and I put her in that while the other birds were on the outside. And last Sunday, I think, while we were at church, somehow she got through it, underneath it, whatever. But when we came back home and did our thing, came back out at night to put them in, she was integrated in with the other birds. So she's been doing good with the other birds now. So we got 16 birds in there, and it seems like they're taking her back in now. They do get ornery, obviously, with the new one, but she's doing good. But anytime she sees us, if we're outside the coop or if we're inside, she's always hopping on our backs or hopping on our shoulders. She's a cuddly one now. It's kind of weird. But signal sucks a lot. Yeah, no big deal. If the bird gets bad, it's dinner time for you. Fried her with dumplings. Yeah. We don't know which bird did it, but she was close to being dinner, because she was not doing very well the first couple days. She wasn't moving much at all, having her head ripped open like that. But she was still too small to eat, as far as I'm concerned. She would not even laying. I think she was still 6-8 weeks away from laying. So I don't know what that is. 16 weeks. I don't remember what it is now, but she might have been 8 or 10 weeks old. So she wasn't very big. Might have been a chicken nugget, I'd say. Gotta get back to work. Y'all take care. Stay safe. Thanks, GP. We have around 16 as well. Yeah. It's good. It's good stuff. It's definitely we got to find more family members to take some eggs. But nonetheless, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to pee on this fire, and not literally, but you guys know. Young animals take that. Get them before the spots come off, eh? What's that, Machu? Yeah. But I'm gonna wrangle this thing down. I gotta go in and get the onions ready. So I appreciate y'all coming in. If you guys liked it, remember to hit that thumbs up button. God bless y'all, and hopefully we can pump out some some more videos. I know I've got another splitting video for you. We end up building a good firewood rack. Very simple, 3 pallets. A lot of people know it, and I've seen them before, but nonetheless, we do it. We measure it out. Thank y'all very much for the support. God bless you, and we will see you next time.